Hi, this is Joe Kirby with Bellevue University's College of Business, and today we're going to be working with the cigar product sales data, but we're going to be looking at the detailed data. We've got a very large file here, and if we remember our control commands, I can navigate this pretty quickly using a control and the down arrow. So we have 67,955 rows in this particular file. With a header, that means we've got 67,954 records of data. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to save this. And we want to save this as an Excel file. So I'm going to save this in an Excel workbook. You'll want to save it in your interim or processed folder. I'm just going to save it right in the spot that we're working at. When I'm working with a large data set like this, the first thing I might do is highlight the entire section, make sure I have all rows of data, and then I want to format it as a table. And this does a couple of things for me. It provides me headers, and it also provides me some filters that we'll play around with in just a little bit. The next thing I'm going to do is, because I want those headers when I'm navigating the data, and I was just hitting the page down and page up button here, I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to select Freeze Panes. And now I've frozen the panes at the B, between B and C, and at row 2. And when I scroll down or scroll across, you'll see that the headings at the top remain, and then the line item date and the date remain here. So let's just, one of the things that we notice is we don't have this in date order. We've got a line item date, and if you hold down Control and press 1, you'll see this is a format. These are different data formats that you can have within Excel. You see a data format of general, which it can be. There's no specific format. It can have text, it can have character, or numeric, it can have characters. And then if we go over to the next column, press F, the Control and 1 again, you'll notice that we have, this happens to be a date value, and this one is a custom hour and minute value. I'm going to turn the auto save off. I don't like that. You get it's personal preference, but I'm going to turn that off. We've got an employee ID, and that's a general, just a numeric. And then we've got an item ID, we've got a product code, we've got item name, and we can extend some of these. And then we have a variety of other fields, currency type, and here's an interesting item. We've got per unit quantity, and I'm scanning around just using the control and the down arrow, and we see that the first instance in which we use this in the data is 22,000 records down in the file. So it's not consistently used. We got an item revenue, and if I scroll down using the control arrows, I can see that that data element has a value all the way through. That's an important consideration. So we don't have any missing values there. And I'm going all the way over to the right. Looks like we've got total revenue, and we've got discount, item total. So I'm going to Control Shift on the total revenue and use the down arrow, and I see that I have $561,357. If you recall, that's the total amount of 2017 sales that we had in the summary data that we were working out with previously. So I want to see the difference between total revenue and item total right here. So I'm going to do the same thing. And it looks like we've got a little different. We've got a little smaller amount. So it appears that this item total is going to be, if I'm just looking at the data, it looks like the item total is going to be the total revenue less a discount. And it looks like they give a discount if they buy a certain number of cigars. In this case, 10 count it looks like. So that's the difference there. That makes sense. And then I go all the way over to the right, and I've created a couple of keys. So I'll teach you how to do this later, but for right now I've just applied it. I've got a key that's made up of the year and the month, and you can see that I use the year first and then the month so that I can sort and I can navigate using that key. And the next item is just the key for the hour and the day if I wanted to look at what the busiest time is during the day. And then lastly, I have a key that shows the category. So, and the category is a summarized category of different items that we would have. So let's first sort this data. So I'm gonna go up to the top A1 and Control Shift right arrow, down arrow, making sure I've got everything. And now I can go to the Data tab and I can say Sort. And if I sort it by the line item date, let's do that first. Notice that that's sorting from left to right. So I have 01, which is going to be the first. So this looks like it's day, month, year. But I start off in April. And if I grab the cursor over on the right and I go down, it's just processing it by day and month. So, you know, depending on how the data is formatted, you have to choose the right method for sorting. So I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to sort it, but I'm going to use the date column instead of line item date. I'm going to use date. And now notice I've got it starting January 2nd, which probably was the first business day that they were open of the year. And if we scroll all the way down, Control down arrow, we've got 12/31. So it looks like we have a complete amount of data for the 2017 year. Now we can look at, we've got item name here, and if I hit this little arrow at the right of this field header, it allows me to filter. And as I scroll down here, I can see tons of item names. So I've got a lot of different item names, and I can choose certain ones, but the reason that I created these categories is it's easier to work with a smaller set of categories. So I grouped each of the items. I did a separate analysis to figure out how to group these. I grouped each of the items into accessories, cigars, humidor accessories, and so on. So I've got a smaller subset of categories that I can manage. Let's go back, and then the per unit quantity. This is interesting. So I've got some per unit quantities in here, but it's not a consistent set of data. So I want to see, I'm just going to pick a few of these and see what that data looks like. And this is a filter, so it's only going to give me records that match, that have a per unit quantity of 10, 12, or 16. Okay, so here I've got, I see it looks like we've got some items that are sold by ounce, and then we have the total revenue, no discounts. Let's go look at 80. We only have one item, and it looks like they may have bought several of these, but there isn't anything that really indicates the quantity sold. 4, 5, 6, just to get a sense of this. It looks like they use the quantity when the item unit is ounces. Let's see what kind of item units we have. Okay, mainly just ounces. So this is something that I do, is just exploring the data and just seeing what we have, looking for missing data, looking for missing records, that kind of things, or items that would be missing in a particular record. And that's really the first step. We call it the exploratory data analysis. The next step that we'll do in this exercise is we'll start making pivot tables, but that will be in the next exercise. So I'm going to go ahead and save this because I've got it now sorted the way that I want. I've got the table structure set up. So that's really the first step in this analysis. and we'll move on to pivot tables next. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.